Hello everybody, this is JustAPOV and I'm here to talk to you and ask you about this dude. Salman Khan, for everyone who doesn't know, is a Bollywood megastar who's been there since the late 80s and one of the three big Khans of the Indian cinema. Sounds normal, right? Just another star somewhere in the world? Well, no. This guy has millions of followers who are borderline worshipping him. His movies make them euphoric and his classics are still watched to this day. When he pops up in a pre-movie commercial in an Indian theater, people go something like that. There's one thing though. Dude has a very problematic and alarming history with the law that rings all kind of bells, raises all kind of flags, and I don't know where to begin. But let's go back to the classics. On September 28, 2002, Salman Khan was under the influence of alcohol. He drove right into a bakery in Mumbai. Right through the bakery. That's not the big deal. The big deal here is that one human being was sleeping on the sidewalk outside of the bakery. And he died as a result of this hit, along with other 4 homeless people who sustained serious injuries. Salman Khan fled the scene, which makes it officially a hit-and-run case.
He got drunk. He knew that driving the car would lead to deaths.
He was later charged with the offense of culpable homicide, but the charges were dropped at the same time. Around a year later, the charges came back and became official, to which he pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, his driver Ashok Singh testified against himself and said he was the one driving the car. Okay. The court proceeded with the case with all the information at hand, and it took around 2 years in progress, but in the end, Salman Khan was found guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, which we can say is a light sentence already. His driver was charged with perjury as he falsely testified against himself and misled the court. But that wasn't the end of it. Salman Khan was granted bail by the Mumbai High Court, and it was a matter of time until the case was suspended until the final appeal. So Salman Khan now in this part of the story is one more time a free man. Okay, getting weird, but about to get weirder. Because magically, conveniently, the prime witness of the case, who was a police constable, was kidnapped and found dead. No one was charged for the murder and no one knows what happened. It just magically happened, tragically, magically happened. Okay. At the end of 2015, Salman Khan was acquitted of all charges due to lack of evidence. There was some official efforts to bring back the case, but didn't really work. Before going on with the Chronicles of Insanity, I'd like to remind you to subscribe if you like the content. In order to get some context for this accident, we need to go back a few months before the hit and run. When he broke with Bollywood actress Aishwarya Rai in March 2002, about 6 months before the accident, the ending to that specific relationship was really rocky. Aishwarya Rai accused him of constantly harassing her, and her parents filed an official complaint to make it stop. And from that point, this erratic behavior of Salman Khan started, and people speculate that the breakup sent him to emotional turmoil. And we all know the rest. It's worth mentioning that there was a call allegedly made by Salman Khan where he threatens her with violence and he name-dropped some dangerous names. It was the equivalent of viral back in the time. This call was dismissed by Indian forensics, but I said it's worth mentioning to know how crazy was the whole thing. Well, we are almost done, but there is one incident that goes back to 1998 and still going on. 24 years later, and it's still on. The craziness starts in 1998. When Salman Khan allegedly shot 2 endangered blackbucks in the Indian state of Rajasthan while filming what was later to be a hit movie. That one. He was accompanied by a bunch of actors including Saif Ali Khan, who's another Bollywood big name. This was obviously a crime and it violated the Indian wildlife protection law. He was spotted by a member of one of the local Rajasthani tribes who considered blackbucks to be religiously sacred. The irony. Not the one you'd want to see you shooting a blackbuck, right? And now the chase starts. 2 years later, the incident came to the attention of the authorities and they began pursuing the case. In 2006, Salman Khan was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. His appeal was rejected and his sentence was upheld. Hooray! But after 1 week, just a single week, Salman Khan's sentence was suspended. Wow. In 2016, something really strange happened. The whole cycle of the case repeated itself. The decision was challenged and he was sentenced to 5 years like the first time, but the sentence was suspended again like the first time. It's like this specific scenario keeps on repeating itself in this case like a ridiculous Groundhog Day. In 2021, the case was supposedly resolved and Salman Khan was finally acquitted, but there are still pending petitions and the case has some aftermath to this day. Wow. Well, really wow. It's beyond me how he managed to keep his gigantic fan base intact with all those crazy allegations that involve hardcore cases that are not to be taken lightly. We've seen a lot of people going down for a lot less than that. It's a really curious case that I'd love to hear more about it from you. Please share your views on the issue and how Salman Khan survived all of the crazy scandals, technically unscratched. If I missed something, feel free to fill in the blanks in the comments. This channel is all about point of views, and this is just my point of view. I'd like you to tell me yours and to subscribe for more point of views.